Okay, so in this section we're going to talk about Forge. What we've already talked about is we've explored the Minecraft launcher, we've explored the Minecraft hidden folder, we have talked about cautionary measures around downloading mods, we actually practiced downloading the Lucky Block mod, and now we're going to install it. So the next really important thing we need to understand is Forge. These are the 5 steps of installing Forge. We already did step 1. We downloaded the Lucky Block mod for version 1.7.10 of Minecraft. So the next step, before we do that, let's just talk about what Forge is really quickly. Minecraft Forge is a modding API. It's an interface. It's really basically a mod that allows you to run mods. So if you want to run mods, you have to install Forge. It's not that hard, but it's good to know the steps in advance, and I'm going to show you those. There are multiple versions of Forge for every version of Minecraft. So for version 1.7.10 of Minecraft, there are about 8 or so versions of Forge, and on back through history. The old versions of Forge prior to 1.5, they require older versions of Java. It becomes a little more complicated to get them, and I think mostly any mods that are worth their salt have been developed beyond 1.5. But if you have questions about, if there's an old mod that you saw in a mod showcase and you really want to get it, send me an email and I'll try and help you with everything I know about it. I have done it. It's just not easy. Unless you need a specific version of Forge, always choose the recommended version rather than the latest version. And that's because a lot of these come out in beta. So just because it's the latest doesn't mean it's the one that's going to work the best. And just a reminder about the term version, we're going to be talking about, and when we're looking at mods, every mod has its own version. So, they created a mod and then they made it better. So the version numbers went up. It could be version 6.0 of a mod. Forge has its own versions, and Minecraft has its own versions. So the term I'll try and be really specific when I'm talking about it, but it gets a little convoluted. Okay, so back to this. We've determined that we need 1.7.10 mod to run our Lucky Block Minecraft to run our Lucky Block mod. So the first thing we have to do is make sure that at least once we run the appropriate version of Minecraft. Forge will not do its thing if you haven't already run the vanilla version of that version of Minecraft. So let me take you to the Forge download area. So if you were to search for Minecraft Forge, let's see where it'll take you. I'll show you. Maybe I won't. If you search for Minecraft Forge, you'll probably go to its home page. It looks like this. Well, that's not the home page I was looking for. Trying to find the one. Well, that's not helping me. Anyway, it might take you to a home page that has things organized a little bit differently. I always recommend going right to this page, files.minecraftforge.net. There's a link. All this is listed in the resources handout that is available on my website. This just lays things out really in a way that's easy to understand. This is telling you which version of Minecraft that version of Forge is for. So anywhere from 1.5.2 to 1.8. There's the latest and there's the recommended. Often they're both the same version. Here, the latest for 1.7.10 is also the recommended one. It's when you get down to the newer ones. The latest for version 1.8 of Minecraft is Forge 11.14.1.1341. But the recommended one was .1334, which is a little bit further back and probably has been tested more extensively. And if you want to go further back, they're all here. Every version of Forge you could ever want. But usually if you just look at the top one, you'll find what you're looking for. Here's 1.7.10 recommended. Remember, we're running a Lucky Block mod that's developed to run on 1.7.10. This is going to be version 1291 of Forge. And over here, because I'm on a laptop, it doesn't stretch it out. Usually these choices are all stretched out in one line and they're easier to see. But for each version of Forge, there's a changelog, an installer win, which I don't think is really that different than this. There's all these things. But what you're looking for is the installer, plain and simple. And I will tell you, if you click here where it says installer, you will get it. It will take you to the AdFly page that we discussed in the previous segment, that can lead you down the wrong road. What a better option is to this little star right here. It's got an underline. It's actually a link. It doesn't look like anything. It looks like a separator. But if you click on the asterisk following the word installer for the version of Forge that you want, it just gives you, it takes you right to the download and starts downloading it into your download folder. Um, the other way will get you there too. It just won't get you there as directly. I'm going to delete some of these things that we were looking at in the previous section so that this is what you should have right now. You've got a Forge installer and you've got the mod that you're going to install. So now we need to run version 1.7.10 of Minecraft. So I'm going to take you over here to the Minecraft game. We're going to quit and start over. We're going to launch the launcher. Here it comes. Again, we went over the launcher and all the different things you can do with it in a previous segment. What we're looking here is the profiles. Now right now we've only got the profile that was set up when the game came. It's named after my son's user ID, and if we edit it, we'll see that it is set up to use the latest version of Minecraft, whatever that might be. Currently it's 1.8.8, but that every time you run using that profile, if you run the game, it'll use whatever the most current version is. So what we want to do is we need to, before we can run Forge, we have to run a vanilla version. Vanilla just meaning there are no mods attached, of 1.7.10. So we're going to create a new profile. We're going to name it. It's really important. The naming conventions become important because the more of these you have, the harder it is to find them if you haven't named them right. So right off the bat, I always name it whatever it's going to be. And then I come over here to the versions and I scroll down till I find 1.7.10. And then I save it. Now, I will warn you that it doesn't automatically choose that profile. You need to go back in and choose that one. And then we're just going to hit play. And what it's going to do, you'll see here, it's downloading all the components it needs to run version 1.7.10 of Minecraft. And if you remember from looking at our Minecraft folder, that's where all the different versions are kept. So now we're ready to play. We can see that we're in Minecraft 1.7.10 by looking here and also by looking here. We don't actually have to open a game. We just needed to download all the vanilla components to be able to add Forge on. So now I'm going to quit. Okay, now we're making progress. So the next thing we're going to do is go to our downloads folder where we had downloaded the Forge installer. And all you need to do is double click on this. Oh, okay, so if you are in on a Mac, in Mac OS X, it's kind of got a built-in feature in the security settings that will keep you from being able to just double click on identified things. So that's nice, it's kind of it. You can either go into your security preferences and override that. I'll just show you that really quickly. If I go into System Preferences, Security and Privacy, you have a choice here of allowing apps to download from only the Mac App Store. I've got this one selected, Mac App Store and Identified Developers, or Anywhere. I wouldn't recommend Anywhere. If you need to change this, you need to click here and enter your system password to be able to make any changes. But what also happens is the most recent thing that you asked for is here. You could say Open Anyway. That's one way to do it. Another way, if you have your security set up the way I do, is you just simply double click on this holding down Control, or no, that's right. You hold down, let's see, how do you do it? You hold down Control, you click on it, and then you say Open. So then it gives you the option to open it. So that's just a way to get around the built-in security that we're very appreciative that's there. It's just one more of those little obstacles. Okay, so now we're at the Forge installer. Super duper easy from here. We're not installing a server, we're not extracting, we're just installing the client. So you click OK, it does a little thing, doesn't take very long. Successfully installed client profile Forge. Sometimes if you had forgotten to do the step before, which is to run a vanilla version already, it will tell you that. You can't do this until you've run at least once the version of Minecraft that this goes with. Okay, so now we're done. So let's close some of these things. Come back to the game. So now when we open our Minecraft launcher, what the Forge installer has done is created a new profile for us, and it is aptly named Forge. So the first thing you want to do is select it, edit it, and change the name of it to 1.7.10 Forge. And sometimes I even go so far as to say which version of Forge it is. That's not so necessary with older versions of Minecraft, but it's just sort of a consistency habit that I got into. You just want your profile aptly named. So this is 1.7.10 of Forge, and here it tells you it's running this version that it just installed when when the installer did its thing. So now we save it. This time it selected it for us. That's good. Okay, so Forge has been installed, and the next step that you have to do, we're very close to being able to use our mod, but the next step we have to do is hit the play button, and it's downloading the jar, and it's opening up, and you'll see this little Java icon here. So this is the launcher, and this is the Minecraft block icon. It's a little bit slower, especially the first time you run it. Now you'll notice the screen looks a little bit different. We're still in Minecraft 1.7.10, but if you look over here, FML, Forge, it's telling you things have changed from when we looked at it last. The most noticeable thing is that right here we have this little mods tab, which we didn't have before. If you click on that, it's going to tell you the list of mods that the game is going to be using. These top 3 mods, Minecraft Coder Pack, Forge Mod Loader, Minecraft Forge, those are all part of Forge. They're always going to be there. You don't want to get rid of them. You don't want to do anything with them. When you start adding mods yourself, they'll come underneath this. So you'll be looking, when you install a mod, you're going to look and make sure that it's there. It's going to come under these 3. Okay, so now we've run a version of Minecraft Forge, so we're good. I'm going to quit. A lot of times you have to quit and come back in. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me take you back to our Minecraft folder. If you recall from the previous modules, we used to just have version 1.8.8 in here, but now it's created 2 more versions, one for 1.7.10 and one for 1.7.10 Forge. That's just sort of incidental, happens in the background, and for every different version that you do this, you'll have a new version folder. But the significant thing is that it added a folder called mods. I think it might have added a couple others too. I don't remember what comes in with it. Config maybe is something that's associated. Yes, config. So right now we have nothing in the mods folder. We're going to change that. So now we're going to go back to our downloads, which was where our Lucky Block mod is. Now here's something really important. I name my mods. I have a naming convention for my mods that helps me tremendously. Lucky Block sort of comes in a little bit like my naming convention, but here's what I do. Regardless of what the mod is called, it's okay to change the name of it. It's not going to interfere with the use of it. It's just going to help you find it when you've got a lot of mods going on. So I always start by making sure the file name of the mod starts with bracket 1.7.10 bracket. If it's a mod for 1.8.8, you would put bracket 1.8.8 bracket, and then whatever after this. And sometimes the mods come in with interesting names. Let's see if I can find the ones that we were doing earlier. Better Dungeons, Custom NPCs. Well, these are pretty aptly named. Sometimes they come in and the developer used their own, like Plants vs. Zombies says PVSZ, which when you initially download it, you recognize it for what it is. But if you're looking back through all your mods trying to find it, you may not recognize it. So I just rename a mod in such a way that it starts with the version number and ends with something recognizable. And you're going to appreciate that as you go along, and you're keeping your own library of mods. That before you do anything, the first thing you do after you download them is rename them. Okay, so here's all I'm going to do. I'm going to take this mod jar and I'm going to put it into the mods folder. We're done. So now when I load Minecraft, okay, I make sure and choose the profile that goes with the mod that I just put in the folder. I hit play. Again, the first time you run things, sometimes it takes a little bit, especially if you're on a slower internet connection or a slower computer. Okay, here we are. So let's look in the mods. And look, we have the 3 I talked about, and then there's the Lucky Block mod. If it doesn't show up here, there are some things you can check out. One would be you might need to unzip the mod. It might not be the right version that matches the version of Forge that matches the version of Minecraft. If it doesn't show up here, all is not lost. You just need to dig a little deeper and make sure everything's compatible. But then you're ready to play. So one thing I recommend is that you name the world based on the mod or mods that you're using. Whoops. Because, as I said in an earlier module, when you go to reopen this world, you have to have the same mods in your mod folder that you had when you played the world before, or it'll crash. So it's best to name your world based on the mod, so that if you want to go back in it, you know which mod it is. In this case, creative would probably be better. And then we create a new world. And I'm not really familiar with Lucky Block, but I think if we check our inventory, there's some Lucky Blocks that weren't in there previously. So there you have it. We have installed and are ready to play a new mod. Now, let me go quickly to, can't do anything quickly here. Sometimes, as I said, not very good at playing Minecraft, just good at the back end stuff. Well, let's go back here because I think I have some, here's the steps of Forge. So we determined the version of Minecraft, we ran the vanilla version first, we downloaded Forge, we installed Forge, and we launched the Forge profile. So let's talk about mods again for just a second. I gave you the examples. Here's some troubleshooting. If your Minecraft freezes or crashes after installing a mod, here are some things to check. So first you want to make sure that the mod is compatible with the version of Minecraft that you're running. Secondly, you want to see if the mod is compatible with the version of Forge that you're running. So sometimes mods will say only compatible with version 1271 of Forge. That's pretty rare. Usually if you're using the recommended version, it works okay. But if you're having some kind of compatibility issue, you might want to install a different version of Forge that the developer specifically asked for. That could be something. Download the correct version of Forge. Sometimes the mods need another mod to run. When I did the segment on mods, I addressed that some mods they need a base core mod of some sort. There's one called Chicken Core mod that needs to be in your mods folder along with the mod you got. Usually when you go to install the mod, when you're on the download page, it will tell you needs such and such core mod to run. But that could be something. Sometimes if you're just dragging them in from from your unused mods folder, you might forget that it needs another mod, so you need to go look that up. When you're trying to run multiple mods, I will tell you that it's very often they conflict with each other. It's sort of rare that you could like grab 5 mods that are for version 1.7.10, throw them all in your mods folder, and expect them to all work together. Very often because the code is calling the same numbers as the other mod, and they just conflict and it'll crash. So usually what I do is I'll put one mod in and I'll play the game. And if it runs successfully, I'll quit. I'll drag the second mod in. I'll play the game again, see if it crashes. If you can play, great. Quit. Drag a third mod in, sort of that way until you find which mod is the mod that doesn't work. So creating your own mod packs is sort of, it doesn't always work very well. That's why, again, I would recommend the mod pack launchers if you're really into like collecting a bunch of mods and running them together. A lot of the YouTubers have done that. They've taken the mods, they've resolved all the conflicts, and they've made these awesome mod packs where they're just sort of plug and play. You can find that in a previous module, somewhere where I was talking about mods in the beginning, maybe mods part 1. And then if all else fails, go to the original page where you downloaded the mod and read the forum. Usually there's some clue in there as to why it didn't work. Okay, so we have done it. We have successfully added a mod. Again, my contact information is on my website, which is shanebowenedwards.com. You can look through my notes there. You can check the resources, which has links to all kinds of really cool things. Or you can email me if you have a specific question and I'll try and answer it. Okay, now we're going to move on to skins, resource packs, and adventure maps.